Good evening, everyone.
I can't hear you guys. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm trying to see if it's something on my end.
I don't have any audio either from the room.
That's better.
USB PNG.
Can you guys hear us now?
Yeah,
Yes.
All right, guys, you good to go?
I can hear you.
Still have one speaker on. Oh yeah, go to mute on the TV.
Oh, it's the TV. All right, now try it.
Okay.
How's that?
Can you guys hear us okay now? Everything good? Yeah, we can.
All right, Doug, you're up. Let's try this.
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Oh, okay. We're good.
Tell us about the schools.
They're open for the school year, and we had a few roof leaks during the rainstorm.
At the elementary schools?
Just a couple.
All right, well, we got the three quotes from SES. So I didn't take a look at the scope. I don't, you're on vacation, but they were all like 13, let's see, Griswold was 13.5.
13.5, 13.5, 15 for Willard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I read through it quickly. I'm not sure if all the gentlemen had a chance to read through them, but it was kind of based on what we had for plans and specs. Kind of they defined their scope, and certainly we can build on that, or we can add or subtract any kind of scope. But this was just to get the commissioners something to look at for review and consideration.
Yeah, and I had a lengthy conversation with Walker
Okay.
from SES, and I explained to him that there'll be pre-construction services as well as during construction and the commissioning. So I'm hoping I didn't get a chance to look at it either, actually, but I think he knew the scope. But I sent him all the drawings.
Yes, Mike. Thanks for covering for me on that one. And
Yeah,
I sent them a package, but they were missing a few things, so I appreciate you taking care of that.
No, it seemed like it worked out good, and he also educated me on the whole commissioning angle, which sounds like it's a great. I mean, you have to do it, and I guess you learn in the high school project
Yep.
that and the earlier the better. So I like
It's smart money.
Yeah,
Smart money.
ROI is like immediate.
They were there for us with the McGee project as well, which went very well. That system's been, the flagship, and the high school is a little bit different, but McGee's been phenomenal the way it works compared to what it was. So it's, like you said, certainly money well spent, added value, and good ROI, good investment doing a project of this magnitude.
Any reason why Willard's more expensive than the other two? Bigger?
I think there's a few more unit ventilators, a little more scope in Willard based on the plans and specs. We have that lower level at Willard, so there's a few more units, 6 or 8 of them, I believe, compared to the other two schools.
Yeah, and I think he also said that Willard, there'll be lessons learned that'll trickle into the other two, which is why the fees might be a little lower too. And in other words, like
Because the specs are the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the specs and stuff.
There's
yeah.
economies of scale.
Yeah, right. So he said that's probably why it's actually cheaper with the other two schools. So
And certainly, they're willing to work with us when we went through the retro commissioning post-COVID per the state guidelines that we went through. They had some proposals that we took to council, but once they completed their scope, you know, they deducted their actual time spent versus what was proposed initially. So there was some savings in the end once they completed their work. So, you know, we could add a little bit, like you said, in Willard, not knowing, but I think once we complete Willard, we'll learn from that and they'll work with us certainly on the hours spent.
Oh, I like McGee. I thought they were.
Yeah.
You weren't here for McGee.
I mean, they've worked well with us, they've
Yeah.
worked well with the team. I mean,
I agree.
I don't see any reason to say no by any means.
Okay, so we have the quotes.
So we need a motion to accept the quotes, go out, sign them.
No, they're sort of for information, once you say.
Just,
Sit on them until,
Yeah, we need it.
Well, the construction manager RFP is ready to go out. Okay, and I know I just sent it out, and I have the latest red line version here, but it really, I threw the dates in, and I'm ready to go to advertise next week. I think it's close enough, and if there's any comments you guys have, we could just issue an addendum if we need to. But it's, I have a month duration for the bids. If you guys want, I think 2-3 weeks is enough. I could, no,
I don't,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we always shortchange ourselves when we try to make it too short.
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
I mean, if
And
there was a budget deadline or some deadline
Yeah.
that we needed it, but
So the pricing we have for the commissioning agent, we just got it from say CSE
SCS, right?
46,000 combined.
for the commissioning agent.
Right.
So we have to get that done before we start interviewing the bidders
Okay,
for the package, because they need to be sitting here helping us evaluate the bidders for us.
at
who they
least sign
feel.
them up for the first.
For
Yeah.
all three
Yeah.
schools,
Yeah.
just well.
for the construction bid.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. For the selection process, that, you know, let them ask questions from each of the bidders. And then from there,
Right.
we'll be able to dial it in a little more, who we feel is the most responsive bidder. Because that's really what we're looking for. And that's why we're bringing them on to help us right out of the box. Especially, there's going to be certain things that they're looking for that they want, you know, that certain answers they want, certain information that they want. And let's let them ask them directly. Because what we don't want to do is get in the middle of that process.
Right.
If there's something that they want, let's make sure we buy it up front, we get it right out of the box and get the numbers right.
So having said that, we're still gonna have to spend the 13.5 on,
Willard.
no,
15.
we're gonna spend 15 on Willard to start, but then Hubbard and Griswold, we're not gonna do right away.
Yeah.
It's gonna be out, but we still need to approve the expenditure here because we want them on board.
I would say, the first school we're gonna do, let's get the approval for that. And let's get it, because we always said that we may change order the other jobs
No,
to
that's true.
the bidder, so long as we have them here for the first one
Right.
away, and let's figure out the path through that, and then from there we can
We
make
can
a
always
decision.
approve these two by
Correct.
email or telephone.
Well, as we approve the bids for the next two schools, we'll approve those at the same time.
Right.
So does that make sense to
That
everyone?
does make sense.
Yeah, and I
Just
think-
thinking in terms of timing, because this is all.
Yeah, I think it would be a matter of, to Don's point, approve it all for the one school and
Yeah.
then just communicate it to the town council. You know, these are the other aspects.
So when we prove, right now, just to keep my head straight here. So let's say we approve it tonight for the first school. Does that still need to go back to council for final approval, or we're done?
We don't have any money, so we have to get the funding.
So it's got to go back to
Yeah.
council.
Yeah, everything's gotta go back to the.
So I
council
think
for-
what we should do right now is get the approval done and send
Tee
it
it
to
up.
council, and let's see if we get it funded.
I think, yes, and we can do that, if we do that short term, or we could do in conjunction with the CM once we get the bids back from CM as well, but we can do it now if you want, because I'm gonna be going to the next town council meeting anyway.
Yeah, I think we should probably get this approved now, and it's pending if we move forward with the project.
All right, and you know what? It's also to test the funding channel.
Yeah.
And Kevin has given me some stuff about they have to, sometimes for non-budget appropriations, you have to have 3 meetings, you have to have a town meeting, so I don't know, I think this is already set up. He already has an account set up, so I think it's good.
So let's do it for the, we'll move the approval
Willard?
for this, and then if they ask about the other two schools, what's going on, we'll tell them.
Right.
It's contingent upon this getting approved, going through the process, because we have plenty of time. We have the quotes, but.
We could always say it's as funding becomes available.
Exactly.
You know, for the other two schools, as funding becomes available, we'll proceed with that, proceed with maybe a change order, maybe going back out to bid. We're not sure yet. Right? We're not. We don't know. Does that make sense, Mike?
Does make sense, yeah.
Mike, I just have one follow-up regarding the financials. SES is on one of the vendors on our on-call engineering.
Oh, okay, good.
So
Good, okay.
they're on state contract, but they're also on our on-call list, approved up to 50,000 for this current fiscal year
Right.
within a contractual account identified. So we'd have to talk to Kevin, like you said. I'm not sure if we can use the ARPA funds or what's currently established in the HVAC account, or if we'd have to, look to move money or go to Board of Finance. But a lot of the legwork's done as far as, they're ready to go on our internal process other than just
Gotcha.
identifying the funding.
Well, that's good to
That's an
know.
issue for town council.
Yeah.
Right?
So let's do this. Let's move forward. I make a recommendation. We approve them for the first school for the amount of whatever it is.
$15,000 for Willard Elementary School.
I'll second.
Jason seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody-
Nope.
Okay, got that, Lisa?
Everyone voted yes.
Don,
Don, you're right. We'll work out the details.
Yeah.
Just tell me to do it.
Yeah.
We'll figure out how to do it, but the funding is always an interesting,
Yeah, and I
Because
just,
it may take you
couple of meetings.
3 or 4 weeks or a month to
Yeah.
get the
No, you're
funding
right.
figured out.
You're
So
right.
that's the only reason I want to push it now.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
and the only thing I'd say is just tee up a little communication about the one, and then here's what the budget numbers are for
Right.
the next two schools.
Right,
So
okay.
they understand that as it moves forward with funding for each of them.
Hey, Doug, did SES get a look at the specifications that were put out for the bid? Or you don't know?
Just
yeah.
the plans and specs from CES along with Fryer. That's
Yeah.
I think the only correspondence they've seen to date.
All right, and they haven't provided any comment on it, correct?
No, this
Because
was
we have-
just the proposal. They kind of fast tracked the proposal just to get it in time for this meeting. We can certainly circle back with them and dive deeper into it, and when they can spend a little bit more time for pre-construction or consulting.
Once you guys get the financial approval for this, whatever course you got to get it through, I would recommend that if there's any comments or information they want to offer as soon as possible, we'll supplement it out to the bidders. You follow me?
Understood. Yes, that's a great idea.
Because they may not like the spec, they may not like the drawings, they may not like something in there, or they may want to change it from proprietary to open source. I don't know. But whatever they say, if we get them engaged now, at least we can get that information and supplement it to the bidders. So we get them going in the right direction.
Sure. I think tonight's approval, maybe we can do it off of this proposal for just a little bit of time, not really material, but just a little bit of their time to dig a little further into what they currently have and give us a little more feedback.
You're gonna have to do it at some point anyways.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just do it up front. Let's get it part of the bid process and send it out as an addendum.
Remember, this is a recommendation. We can't approve the expenditure, so we're recommending that this gets sent to town council for their approval. Just, I know it's wordsmithing, but I don't want them to hear it's approved yet, not until town council
Yeah.
says. All right,
All right. Well, the second action item would be to authorize me to issue this CMRFP of everyone. And what I did, Don, was we had a 20-month schedule, and you and Jim, and there was a discussion about
Yeah.
that. And then you said, well, ask them for their schedule.
Yeah.
So that's how it's phrased right now. It's like
Okay.
proposers estimated schedule, and that's the language in there. I can make changes before it probably get it advertised on Wednesday.
Well,
So
I think once you get it out, they're gonna send back a bunch of RFI questions.
I'm sure they
And
will.
then we can supplement with an addenda.
Yeah.
So, I
Okay.
mean, it's just the process.
Yeah, and it's there. It's pretty much there. There might be tweaks, and then, yeah, the questions back are gonna be enlightening. So,
Yeah, get it out the door. Let's figure it out.
so is there a motion that I can, is it
Make a motion,
required,
right.
first of all?
goes with the RFQ.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
I know, but the answer.
It's out of the way.
We'll give, it's Rob. He's home. Okay,
Oh, and then related to that, the agreement that we're gonna use for the CM is the AIA 132. Don had some comments about that. I'm gonna incorporate, I've already incorporated some of those in there, but we don't need to deal with that right now. It can be when the
Yeah.
CM's coming on board, but at least we know with, I think you were even asking the question, is there anything, is there any mines in there, any issues that would not make it applicable? And I think it is applicable.
It is.
Yeah.
That's
So,
why.
Are we gonna do a mandatory walkthrough?
I have it in there as mandatory, but I can change it. And I talked, Doug, thanks for that schedule. The school schedule, because I was trying to figure out when to do it, and there's actually a half day or early dismissal on
No
the
problem.
28th, 2 weeks into the bid.
Perfect.
So that's perfect. I can, hey, Doug, I have it as 2:30 on the 28th. They got out, I think, at 12:30 for early dismissal. Is that enough time? I think it's enough time for the traffic to clear out, everything else, but can I move it up earlier?
Yeah, but if you want to go to 1:30, that should be fine. If we give them an hour,
All right, so
that's
anytime
sufficient.
between okay, so 1:30 will be the earliest.
Yes.
Okay, I have 2:30 right now.
Yeah, if it's not convenient for them, anytime after 1:30.
Right.
Okay with us.
So, and I'll coordinate with you on the principle and how we're gonna do it. I think we should, and we can talk about it. The same thing we did
Yeah.
at the school, go into
Yeah.
that mechanical room.
Yeah.
And then go down the hallway, do a
Yeah.
couple of representative,
Just have like an 8-foot ladder there if anyone wants to poke their head
Right.
through the ceiling, stuff
Right.
like
We
that.
just can't have more than 3 members plus if we want to go.
I'm not going.
Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
a meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in case anybody's
Yeah.
interested, no, I don't mind if anybody goes, just remember.
I intend on going, I'm sure Doug or one of his guys.
You don't
That's
count.
more
or
way
someone.
more important than
Yeah.
us.
You don't count, so it's fine.
I don't count?
Well, you do.
I
but not-
love that.
Not as Did you
I
ever-
understand.
Did you ever talk to
No,
them about that outdoor chiller?
I have 2 or 3 questions, the valves, the balancing, and the outdoor chiller. So that's on my list to get back.
I guarantee it's a plume issue. That's why it's so far away. It's the only thing I can think of.
Safety issue. Put it in the tank.
Yeah. But I'll dig into that. I owe you the answers on that from CES. So, okay,
Mike, we can put that into the building use schedule for Willard. Just coordinate that with the Board of Ed. It'll be on their calendar. That way everyone's aware that what's happening.
oh, okay. So the earlier the better.
Yeah, once we get a
All right.
hard date.
I'll coordinate with you when you get back.
That's September 20th.
September 28th. Yeah,
Just the only thing, when you do get that out to bid and you post it, just copy all of us on, that it's
absolutely.
on the street, because
Yeah.
I'm gonna call some contractors too and try to get them interested in it.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Pretty good. Okay,
All right, anything else for Doug?
I don't think so. I mean, we're gonna be talking about the PD.
Let's cut him loose. He's on
Yeah,
vacation.
go back to vacation, Doug.
Yeah,
No, that's fine. I don't mind hanging out. That's fine. Just anything you need me to do for the PD, I'd be happy to help Mike with.
Well, just if you're gonna drink a beer on your vacation, make sure we don't see it. We're jealous. All right. Then I guess we'll go to the senior center. For an update, in locker rooms.
the locker room is actually ahead of it.
I thought we switched 4 and 6.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Are you guys gonna let Doug go?
Well, the senior center, it's a quick, we got the kind of a closeout status memo from Tom Carey. I forwarded it to you guys. John, it's in the
Yep.
file. I think
Perfect.
we're good. They're an older pattern, so we're good.
Okay.
Excellent.
Now, expansion and renovation of the police and locker room facilities.
Yes. So I think after the 5 iterations, we're good with Jakunsky Hume's design agreement. So Jeff Janofri went through it. That was he already went through some of the sections before.
Right.
Now, so it's like $300,000. It's redlined, hasn't been fully accepted, all the changes, but I sent
Accepted
that.
by whom?
Accepted by, well, I think it has to go back to Brian Hughes because he generated it.
Okay.
But
So we
Jeff-
made changes and
yes.
Jeff made changes and
Right.
Brian has not accepted the changes yet.
no, we haven't asked him.
Okay.
So he hasn't seen the last, and it was Jeff's comments are relatively minor.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Anyway, so that's in good shape.
Okay.
So I sent around an agenda item it would have to go to town council, right? So it's a draft, so you can, I mean, I have it here if you want to take a look at the hard copy, but it's basically going through some of the history and asking for them to,
Yeah.
you know, authorize the PDC to execute this agreement. Now, I talked to Kevin about the funding. So Kevin is going next week to the Board of Finance to get $300,000 set aside. It's a non-budgeted appropriation. It's going to require 3 meetings. So this, I was trying to get into what, yeah, you have to go to the Board of Finance to see if they support it. Then you have to go to town council, call a town meeting, hold a town meeting, the town council votes, and then it has to go back to the Board of Finance. So there's,
$300,000.
well, because it's a non-budgeted appropriation. It's coming from a source.
I
that's-
understand that.
This is the funding for Jakunski.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
yeah, for the PD. I mean, it's not the 5 million, it's.
What do
it's,
they
you know,
expect out of town meeting, just out of curiosity?
They expect nothing.
Citizens to come and talk about it?
No, sometimes there's a couple of people, but really, it's a. well, sometimes it's a
I know.
process.
Well, in the
It's a process.
scheduling of the town meeting, they just schedule it like prior to the next town council meeting. So
Yeah,
it's
they
not a
do.
separate night.
No, no,
it's just-
no, they hold the town meeting and then they vote on it after, so that's
Yeah.
all
Oh,
one meeting,
all morning.
but it's still like, you
Two
have to
meetings, two
set,
official meetings.
you have to set the town meeting at a previous
Previous
meeting, so
meeting,
that's
yeah.
2 town councils and
Yeah.
1 board of finance,
no.
you know? And really, it's another board of finance because he's trying to package other things too, so he's trying to get support, then he's gonna go to town council and say, hold it, you know, this is what we're gonna do, hold a town meeting, package all this stuff together. They hold the town meeting, the next one, and then the board of finance. So it's not as bad as it sounds because the board of finance is shortly after the town council meetings, but it's, you know,
It's a
it's a
process.
process,
It's a
yeah.
process, yeah.
So I was gonna get this on the next town council meeting, and I don't think it's, I talked to Kevin just before this meeting, I'm like, I'll hold on this, but, so we have time to look at this. One of the things I wanted to get feedback on is, it's $300,000 in here, but he has a reimbursement, there's reimbursable expenses, so it's 300 plus. So do you want to do a 15% contingency on top of the 300? Do you want to throw 20 grand,
Did he put any
$50,000?
allowance in on it or?
What's the reimbursement expenses? Pencils, erasers?
Mileage,
white papers?
printing, reproduction, shipping,
Mileage is
you know, any
huge.
printing or plotting of drawing sets, that kind of thing.
Well, you've got 15,000.
Well, I threw 15, I'm thinking it had to be at least that much. Well, that's just a number.
I would ask him for an allowance, ask him what he thinks is reasonable. I mean,
Yeah,
is it-
all right.
Is it
I
10,
kind of
5,
did,
10?
but he hasn't got back
I
to
mean,
me yet.
I can't imagine it's that much, but.
Yeah. So, all right, so I'll get a number from him.
Maybe
Now, do you want
If
to
it's
tack?
50, then I put it 15.
Yeah, yeah.
Only
Um,
Ferguson would get that.
But do you want to continue?
He's a mile and a half from here, so it's 65
Right.
cents a mile, so.
Yeah, but he has 3 sub-consultants, structural and whatever, and they're in,
We're not paying
whatever,
travel.
so.
But it would be.
I don't think it's gonna be big.
Full report, yeah.
Okay, so I'll go back to Brian and ask him for the reimbursable, his estimate.
I think it's probably fine at 315. I don't think it's gonna. be-
Yeah, I agree.
But do you see any change orders during the process? I mean,
Well,
You spelled
Aside
everything
from-
out pretty well for us, or start out.
I think he knows the project
Yeah.
pretty damn well, you know, so I'm
I
thinking.
don't think there's gonna be any surprises there. I mean, if there are, we'll adjust it in phase 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think, because it'll be minimal, I think. I don't think there's anything there, because we're not doing anything but pushing paper right
Yeah, okay.
now, so.
Well, I'll get the number from Brian and then we can, if you want to throw another little cushion on
Yeah,
top
just
of
let
that.
us know.
Okay.
I think, I agree with Don. I think we could say, we could just approve it, recommend approval of 15,000 right now.
Because anytime you throw a contingency on something like this early, it's gonna raise flags.
Yeah.
People are gonna ask
okay.
why. What
And-
is that
and it's a
for?
big
Why?
number too.
Yeah,
A lot easier to go to them, and say, I've got it in my money. So,
yeah. Make it work.
Okay, so we're kind of in good shape. It's just, we gotta let Kevin move the money around. So what I'll do is I'll let Kevin know how much he should, because he has 300K. If we want 15,000 or 20,000 or 10,000, I'll just say, listen, but he has a fallback on the contingency. He said it could be added to this fund, or we can get it from the town clerk LoSiP account if needed. So
Yeah, so
there's,
don't even put it in there. We'll just pull it
All
out
right.
if we need it.
okay, All right.
Don't even put it in.
So basically keep it all in one fund and keep
Yep.
it clean and
Yep.
be upfront with everything. Okay. All right. So that's where that stands. Is there anything else on the locker rooms?
Nothing's changed, really.
No.
This letter is the only thing we got going out. There's been no design changes, no
Yeah.
cost changes, no nothing.
Well, you know, the cost estimates are outdated, but. that's the
Snapshot
way
in
it is.
time.
Yeah.
Snapshot. in
And
time.
in the agenda item, I say at that time, these were the numbers because they're gonna be interested in that, so. And it's gonna be basically asking them to approve it, but once we get the funding set up, I'll have the account number. And I'll put Board of Finance approval if we have to get that after the fact, or pending, conditioned on Board of Finance approval. So it's gonna, the language is gonna change, but if you see something in here you want me to change in the write-up. And they were asking, and the reason I did this basis for bid waiver request with the bullet points is that the town manager wants to have some sort of rationale for why we're not going out on a competitive basis. So if you have any more ammo for this, let me know. And what other projects did Chakosky Humes do besides the cells? Was there something before that I can just?
They've done a lot of stuff for us that they going back in time, they've done
Yeah,
work for
he's
us for years ago.
You know what? I'll get it from Brian.
Yeah.
How about that?
Got a long history with it.
Okay. Then because I want to add a little bit more beef to that so that because you're asking for $300,000.
Well, the thing is, they did the space assessment and the
Yeah.
space needs assessment. They did all that. They know what's going on there. They've worked with the town or they work with the PD. That's the reason why I'm supporting
Plus, we
Yeah.
have
this.
an extensive knowledge of
Right.
police and
Yes.
I'm gonna.
emergency service buildings. As good as
Exactly.
anybody in the state of Connecticut.
I have that in there
Done a
too.
couple projects with them on other police departments.
Oh yeah, you have? Well, I know. I mean, they actually have a map of Connecticut where they have all the projects where they did PD projects. It's like the whole freaking state. I'm like, oh my god, you know.
And that's their bread
I
and
want to
butter.
include that. I'm gonna have that as an attachment. Oh, no, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, if Brian has a list, I'm gonna throw it in there just to, add a little beef and then say,
The
yeah,
experience.
I don't know, we go too far.
Well,
with that stuff.
if I was
no,
writing,
just a little snapshot.
if I was
yeah.
writing it up, it's real simple. Due to their vast experience of doing PDs within the state of Connecticut, it
Yeah.
becomes the most cost-effective, economical decision to use this firm because
Gotcha.
of their past experience.
Right.
And that should slaughter it right
Okay,
there.
all right,
And their experience with this space.
absolutely. And the police department and police commission.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rocco initially was trying to say something.
Oh, sorry, Rocco.
I was just adding on to that. I mean, the Humes, their bread and butter is police department. So,
Yeah.
and they're a Berlin resident. I know that doesn't mean much, but
No,
Supposed
Yeah.
to give them a-
it's great when they're just down
Doesn't
the
hurt
street.
to
No.
say, to remind everybody he's a borough
Yeah.
president and it's not.
There's a lot of economies there.
Yeah,
A lot of
Yeah.
economies.
Yeah.
They're supposed to get local bidders.
yeah. We always try to use source from local contractors, at least in the general area, if we can, And if they happen to be low bidder, it's even better.
Do we
Right,
do
so-
you need decisions on any of this stuff? Are we good?
I don't know. I don't think so, because the funding has to be set up by Kevin. It's gonna take probably 3 weeks. to
Okay.
do that. So it's just offered. I just wanted to get it out because we're close and I just wanted to get this sort of out there so that we can talk about it and feedback from you guys. So,
Excellent.
okay.
Wash back.
Bids are due the 22nd. And Kevin is also going to be doing with his funding non-budgeted appropriations, going to be putting 250 or 260 of the FEMA money. He's going to ask for that to be put in the truck wash bay account. So once he'll hopefully have that all set up by the time we get the bid results. And the pre-bid went well, and there were there were, I think, four reps there, but really 2 teams, so we'll see what happens.
See when they come back.
And the low bidder, Jay Rosen, was there, so I know he's gonna rebid it, and they had a package, it was already ready, so he just had to revamp it and issue it, so. Redo the cost. I'm just worried about the cost increases, but whatever.
Nothing we can do about that
Nothing we'll
right
do,
now.
yeah, just whatever,
Until
and
we get it.
exactly, so
Send you out there with a damn 5/8 fire hose.
that's it. That's what you guys are
Garden hose.
using, yeah.
Better run that garage door.
Yeah, so that's where that stands.
All right, any new business from anybody? Old business? I have a question, just an update on high school.
The audit.
Yeah.
Actually, Doug, do you know anything about that?
Yes, as far as the state has received the closeout paperwork is in recognition of it. We're waiting for our audit date. Which will, the clock has started on their part, but until we get the audit completed, our reimbursables are still pending. And what I did here hasn't been confirmed, but there's a potential that our reimbursable rate has been reduced from what was originally earmarked or allocated in the project. So we're trying to get some more information on that.
Why? Because it's something we did or the state has decided not to give the money?
No, I think basically the state, with everything that's happened is not able to reimburse, but I'm sure there's more to come on that because there could be some legal questions on that, but I guess we're off the hook as far as everything we can do, we've done to date. All the paperwork's in the hands of the state and we're waiting for further direction or waiting for the auditor to come at this point.
And I
Once
forget,
bragging about a big lack of a budget deficit. Push $20 billion out. It's one big deal.
I forget, did Gilbane ever bill us for that work?
No, good
Tom?
point. There's that little bit of time that Tom had spent with us. I believe that's still pending, so we should be in receipt of that final invoice soon. We'll give them a call for a reminder, but they're basically, this will
They're
close.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you remember that letter that Tom sent, I think it was circulated that basically they kind of signed off on the project and they did all they can do post-project, pre-audit, and won't be much resource for us moving down the road.
Right now, if the state has all the paperwork and they've confirmed that to us, then we're just waiting for them to.
Yeah, we have all the files. I actually went to Gilbane's office, picked up everything they had left remaining from the project.
All right.
So we have everything in our possession. It's in the Public Works vault. That letter has been circulated throughout town hall for everyone that's involved. So it's on file and we're just waiting for the state at this point.
Okay, thanks. That's all I had. Anybody else?
Take a motion, we adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
All right. Take care, guys.
Good night,
Good night,
guys.
everyone. Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.